Reed in Temple, Texas. Hey, Reed, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Holy cow, I didn't expect it to go boop, boop right in my head.
Heck yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of background noise there. If you could just clear it up a bit, and we'd be happy to talk to you.
I am actually driving in a Ford Transit, so there's absolutely nothing I can do about it.
Okay, Reed, well, tell you what. Go ahead and give us your spiel, and I might mute you in between us talking just to let deafen the noise a little bit. But, yeah, tell us what you wanted to talk to us about.
Oh, yeah, I'm totally okay with that.
Okay.
So I've been watching Paul Keevan, the Atheist Experience, for most of a year and a half now, and that branched me out to other shows, and I started watching yours, and I know it kind of follows this like street epistemology-esque kind of feel to it, where you can talk about everything and talk it through.
Sure.
But I've tried to learn that for myself. To be able to critically think about everything. And that's getting really hard. Like, I didn't start to think for myself until my senior year, or even when I was 22 years old. I spent most of my childhood just not thinking, because it got me in danger. Like, I had ADHD, I didn't know what was going on. Long story short, I'm trying to build critical thinking skills, and I wanted to talk to you about street epistemology and how to do it better.
Okay.
Be better at street epistemology.
So, like, how to be better at street epistemology in general. Is that kind of what you're asking?
Right.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
real quick, like, dude, I can totally identify with what you said, like, trying to not think about things. Like, that was, I did that so often, it's not even funny. Like, I would try to not look up information because I was afraid that I would be wrong. And it would challenge my whole worldview.
I completely agree.
For sure. All right, well, Reed, I'm going to put...
It really sucks.
Yeah.
I had a really shitty childhood. Like, I grew up middle class, but it was really shitty. Because the way I was treated, my brothers and I were treated by my dad. And I've since grown away from those things, but I know it reflects on me now. And it was easier back then to just shut off. And now it's really hard to get a grasp of how to think through things logically, and I didn't build those skills growing up, so I'm trying to figure out how to do it better.
All right, so Reed, I want to give my response to you. I am going to put you on mute for just a bit, but I will get you back on whenever, we give you a chance to have a back and forth here, just so we're minimizing the noise. But yeah, like, what's the basics? What's the 101 to do good street epistemology? Well, first, you should know I'm definitely not an expert in the subject. I've been, doing this for a few years now. I've been studying street epistemology and stuff and what it does for people. But, there are a couple basic ideas that I think you should have first before you study street epistemology or really want to do it. And one is, if you're out to convince people's minds and to tell them you're wrong, you need to stop. And that's kind of a weird thing for people, because when people want to go out, they want to go out and convince people of their own ideas and tell people what's true, what's not true. But really, as a street epistemologist, that's not my job. So, like, I get calls every single week. People who believe the earth is flat, people who believe that Jesus Christ is Lord. I mean, just all kinds of stuff. And I walk away with those conversations most of the time. I don't change people's minds too much. I'll get them places, maybe. I'll make them think about, stuff that they hadn't thought about before, but they're not completely demolishing their worldview. And I think that's a problem that a lot of people have. Like, when we want to have conversations with people, we really want to convince people so hard. But, like, Brent and I were just talking at the beginning of the show, it took us a long time to get to where we were at. It's a lot of thinking. And it took me way too long, in my opinion, for myself. But, when I had my conversation first with Anthony Magnabosco, as many people know, like, I did not become an atheist the next day. I did not become an atheist the next week. I didn't become an atheist 6 months later. It took me a while to, like, go on that journey. But, like, that was an important step in that journey because it made me think about things a little bit. So, like, the first thing is just an attitude shift that I think that's a personal thing that everybody has to work on. It's something I have to work on when I have conversations with people. There's a lot of people that tell me, like, oh, Dan, you're really patient with people. I'd be, like, freaking out. It's like, no, man, it's just, like, in my mind, like, I definitely want to say other things, right? Like, I want to tell them that they're wrong, but, like, that's not my place when we're having these conversations. My point is to just show people maybe other paths of thinking, because I have to make the assumption with every single person I talk to that they could be right. And I need to figure out, well, how do I know that they could be right? What questions would I ask myself if my own opinion, you know, if I were to have this belief, what would I need for myself to justify that this belief is true? So like that's always the first general bit of advice before I tell anybody any cool techniques or any particular questions. It's just an attitude thing. Brent, what do you think about, you know, street epistemology and stuff? Like, what's your like beginner tips or anything like that?
Yeah, honestly, giving away your position is the last thing you want to do, because that right there, it poses an opposition, and then when you pose an opposition like that, people tend to revert back to their automatics. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's where they start to just fire off. They'll just stop thinking, and they'll do like what I used to do and just start reciting lines basically of why they believe. But it's not actually why they believe. The whole purpose of street epistemology is to get people to think about why they believe what they believe. And so if you give your position away as saying, no, but what about the census? That doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah.
You know, and it's, why would you go somewhere and then everybody counts you and then you go somewhere else? That doesn't make any sense. You know, you don't want to do that, because that's, you know, while that's a very good point, you know, it doesn't, because all it's going to do is make them double down.
Yes.
You know, and you want the person to evaluate why they're thinking things, and that to keep that in mind more than anything. Like, you don't want to change their mind right now, like you said, Dan. It's more about just putting out that idea or challenging their what they believe in a way that they will evaluate and actually self-reflect. And that's really the most important part. And even if we don't change any minds, if we can just get them to think about why they think things, they might loosen their grip on some of the harmful aspects of what they believe. You know, like maybe it isn't. Maybe the LGBTQ community is not that terrible, or whatever. You know, stuff like that. You know, we can just get them to loosen at least on those things.
Yeah. Like I do street epistemology. My MO is not to make everybody atheist. That's like the last thing on my mind. The reason why I do it is because I do believe that beliefs can cause harm. I know, because I had beliefs that caused myself harm. I've seen people with beliefs that cause harm to others. And I think all of our beliefs should be worth examining. I don't think people have the tools necessarily to examine them. I think whether it's, you know, a lack of critical thinking courses in the public education system, or maybe it's just, you know, they're encountering an idea that they just haven't thought of before because they were afraid to have these conversations with people. That's another thing too, because like a lot of these conversations outside of the sphere of, you know, a show like this can be uncomfortable. And like people are used to getting into fights when it comes to religion and politics, right? Like that's, and people get real scared.
And religion.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm sorry. But religion is almost meant to simplify. Right? Like it's meant to take everything in your mind that's complicated and difficult to absorb and make it basic and make it black and white. This is right. That is wrong. You know what I mean? It's meant to just basically paint everything in this basic form.
Absolutely.
You know, because that's comfortable, and it is comfortable for us, and it's easy. It's like we were just saying about not thinking about things. It basically makes it so it's easy to do that.
Well, you're taught that there's certain immutable truths, and like your worldview is going to be warped based on those truths, and you're going to justify everything you can to keep those truths afloat in your mind, you know, and that's why you have all ranges of. I mean, if we're talking about Christianity runs the whole spectrum of you know, between acceptance of LGBT people and like, you know, like all kinds of different ideas and theologies, because people are willing to give up some ideas but keep other ones, you know, because there's always going to be some that are just central to the tenets. You know, like you'd be hard pressed to find a Christian that doesn't say like Jesus is Lord. You know, I'm sure there are Christians out there who say that, but like that's a pretty central thing. You know, everything else might be a give or take, but there's going to be those couple ones that don't stick around. But anyway, hopefully that's some at least, you know, some basic advice on street epistemology. Reed, I'm going to put you back on the microphone here so you give a chance to, you know, kind of respond to what we're saying here. Can you hear us again, Reed?
Yeah.
Great.
I got on smoother highway, so hopefully the noise is down.
Sweet.
I didn't have a disagreement with anything y'all said. Like I had already thought about, like, trying my best to remove myself. And I'm sure Facebook debates have not helped me in my mindset.
Yeah.
So non-confrontational conversations is, to me, I think is the best way to go. No name-calling, no attacking. As soon as you do that, you completely change the tone of the idea exchange, and it gets hostile. Unfortunately, to tell you the truth, I am trying to be better at spirit epistemology, but it's kind of like I'm passionate about it and teaching people and getting people to think, because I want to be able to think and find the truth and find the right answer. And my girlfriend is extremely Baptist. I am a Caucasian, nerdy, white kid, that was redundant, that is dating a very Louisiana black, extremely intelligent, beautiful woman, extremely opinionated. And she already knows I'm an atheist. I've been to church with her a bunch of times. She is 100% confident that that the rapture is coming. But she's not the kind of person to shove it down anybody's throat. She has gay friends that she loves dearly. She's very open. Like, I guess she's as accepting as we are to the LGBTQ+ community. But she'll end it with, "But they're going to hell." Like that kind of.
I see. So, Reed, do you think her beliefs?
I want her to be able to critically think about that.
Yeah. Are her beliefs? Are they an impediment to your relationship enough to where you think you might have to change her mind about something?
See, that's what I fear. Like,
oh no, Reed, we're losing you a little bit here.
No.
You're going under a bridge?
Going under a bridge or something. He's out there in Temple, Texas, so anything could be happening, if you've ever been out there.
No, dude. I'm driving from Brenham out to Elton, and then...
Reed, you're breaking up, dude. I'm so sorry, man. Okay, I'm going to put you back on hold again, Reed, until we can hear from you again. But, so let's talk about this just a little bit and then, move on to some other calls here. But, yeah, when is it like, what is the limit with the personal people in your life, especially your interpersonal relationships to your loved ones, the ones closest to you? Like, when is it time to have a conversation? And when is it time to talk about your own beliefs about something versus theirs? It's something that I haven't yet quite solved myself. There's certainly guidelines as far as like, well, is your relationship with that person going to harm relationships with other people? For example, if you're with someone who has harmful ideas about the LGBT community and one of your best friends is gay, well, that's going to be a big deal, isn't it? You can't really go out to dinner with them, can you? I mean, maybe you can, and maybe they have it, hide that in the back of their mind, but there's always going to be that tension there. What do you think about this, Brent?
Yeah, it's like with my mom. Like I love my mom, and she is the sweetest woman on the planet. But her naivety, because it becomes a problem because she has these ideas of believing that even just the fact that you believe somebody is choosing to be LGBTQ in some form, right?
Yeah.
And this was a big problem for me because I was pansexual. I'm pansexual. So, and I didn't know that when I was a Christian.
Sure.
So it actually reinforced this whole concept of, you can choose it because I'm pansexual. I can. I actually am seeing, I'm attracted to men. I'm attracted to women. I'm attracted to trans men. I'm attracted to trans women. I'm attracted to I have these feelings about people, and and to me at the time, it was like, dude, I totally already know you can choose this because I feel these attractions.
Sure.
And you're wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, for saying that it's innate, but, and so those type, but, just believing something like that, where you're acting like you know something about another person's experience without actually listening to them telling you about their experience, and you already came to a conclusion about what, they're just wrong, or they're just, what is it, to their reprobate minds or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a problem, because that becomes harmful in how they vote.
Yep.
You know, for one thing.
Yep.
Because that's very harmful to a lot of people, how you vote. And the other thing is, it's just how and just how you treat people. You end up patronizing people and being really. And you can change other people's minds too. You know, that's the other thing is my mom could have been talking to other people and be like, "Oh yeah, you're right. It is a choice. You're right. I shouldn't think that these people are just like this, and I should treat them like, you know, good, normal humans because they're just choosing to be horrible."
Yeah.
You know, and no, that's not what it is.
Yeah. So Reed, I'm gonna we'll get you back on in a second so we can say our adieus here. But you know, like my take on this personally is, if they love you enough, or if they like you enough, or they are willing to put up with you for your beliefs, right? Use that to your advantage to have conversations with people, but don't expect change to happen all at once. I've been on both sides of this, by the way. I've been with people who I've definitely believe differently from me for my beliefs now, and I've also been with people where I was when I was a bit more conservative and they were a bit more liberal on some things, and we had these kinds of conversations and stuff. And I wish I could go back to some of those people who are a bit more liberal about things and say, "Hey, look at me now! Like I'm kind of on your side about some of this." But you know, like I think that's a good thing actually if you're with someone who doesn't necessarily believe the same things you do, because what better person to have a conversation with about these kinds of things than someone that you really care about? You know, because that's going to ensure that this is happening. This is a long-term thing, that this isn't just a one and done thing. Like that's the advantage of you know, like we're using LGBT examples a lot, but like there's a lot of politicians, I mean, at least more than one, who has changed their minds about LGBT people because someone in their family came out as LGBT. And that personal matters really do change the heart a little bit when it happens to you personally.
Dick Cheney.
Yeah, Dick Cheney was the one I was thinking of. Yeah, that's
like the worst person ever. He's just awful. But yeah, he loosened his views
for sure
on LGBTQ because of his daughter, right? His daughter?
For sure. Well, Reed, you're back on. I'm putting you back so I can hear you again. Any last closing thoughts before we head to the next
hurricane?
Yeah. Any closing thoughts, Reed, before we go to the next call?
I really appreciate what you guys have opened up and said. Unfortunately, there isn't too much of this on the internet to really explain through. I guess is it philosophy? To explain these kinds of
truth wanted, man.
We have in our critical thinking. Yeah.
It's its own thing, right?
It is. I love it, and I'm going to share this. This is awesome. I'm on TV, Mom.
Well, great, Reed.
I really appreciate what you guys have said. I feel like I've learned a lot, and I'm going to get a better grasp on this. I've been looking at the short goal instead of looking at the long goal of eventually feeling like I'm on the same thinking ground as someone that doesn't have the same beliefs as me.
For sure.
That's in my personal life.
Well, I'm glad you could learn something from this, Reed, and thanks again for calling. I hope to hear from you again. Maybe next time when you're not driving, so we can get a better quality connection here. But good luck with your relationships, good luck with life, and have a safe drive, brother. Sweet. Good conversations all around. That's a topic that comes up a lot, especially that last point of, you know, when is it appropriate to talk about this thing? Like the example we've used in the past is, you know, like, like grandma's at grandma's funeral, right? Do you talk about whether or not they're in heaven or not? You know, like that's the kind of stuff we've talked about before on here. And it's like, you know, like it's a bit of a gray area. You know, like you want to be true to your values and true to your understanding, but there's also this idea of being polite and of being tolerant of other people's views, and we have to navigate those relationships with people, and ultimately that's going to be up to you. You know, how much you're willing to tolerate versus how much you're willing to put up with it, and maybe change people's minds. Who knows? But
yeah, it was like my at the church I used to go to. They would always say, "Hey, everybody's a Christian at a funeral."
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
you know, that was like their favorite line.
Yeah, it's a bit of a projection there, maybe.